Sourcefed Movie Club, hello, how you doing? So, quick note on the fact that I keep changing locations. It's just a thing that I do. I love variety. I love having a variety of locations to film in, setting up the camera in a variety of ways. It's just a thing that I like to do. Variety is the spice of life, and I find that spice incredibly addictive. More addictive than the spices of Arrakis. And the true nerds will get that reference, by the way. Okay? So, yeah. So, the movie today, yeah. Staying focused. Try and get this in one take. The movie for this week, for the Sourcefed Movie Club, is The Game, directed by David Fincher, who's one of my favorite directors. He's directed two of my favorite all-time films, Seven and Fight Club, so I love his work. I haven't seen most of his latest work, but I do love his work, and I have no doubt that this is a great movie. And that's my problem with this movie, is that it's very difficult for me to enjoy this movie. The Game falls into a category of film that, or a category of storytelling, really. A category of plot that relies on the plot twist. Now, some examples of this kind of plot or filmmaking in film is The Usual Suspects, also one of my favorite films. I love that film. The Sixth Sense, The Village, which is also by M. Night Shyamalan. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan became known for this type of ending after a while. And then there's The Game, you know. Various films like this that rely on the surprise ending, rely on the plot twist at the end. So I call this linchpin filmmaking or linchpin storytelling, because that's the problem, is that if the twist is revealed for you ahead of time, it's like somebody pulled a linchpin and the whole damn thing collapses. It's like a house of cards. You pull out the right card, the whole thing collapses. So if someone spoils this movie for you, it is like, I mean, spoil is the perfect word for it, actually. It is like spoiled fruit. No matter what you do to spoiled fruit, it's going to taste rotten and horrible, and it's not going to be a fun film-going experience. And that's been my problem with the Game, is that someone spoiled the ending for me like 2 weeks after it came out, because I guess they were pissed off with how the film manipulated them. But that's the fun of films like these. You're either along for the ride with the manipulation, you know, going along with Michael Douglas's emotional journey to try and find out and figure out what is real, or like me, the movie was spoiled for you, and you sit through this movie saying, "Really? That was planned? That was planned. And that was planned? And that guy's an actor? And they planted that gun? And they knew he was going to do that? They knew he was going to jump off the building? Wait, and that was planned? And he was in on it too? And his brother was... Really? How plausible and realistic is it that all of this was a manipulation, that all of this was manufactured by ordinary people who were just paid to manipulate this guy, really, and everyone in his life was in on it? It seems like such a far-fetched ending. But that doesn't make it less enjoyable. If you don't know the ending, you can enjoy the film. You can be there for the ride and enjoying Michael Douglas on the emotional journey to figure out what the hell is going on. That's what films like this rely on, is that you're along for the ride to figure out what's going on. But if the film is spoiled, if that linchpin is pulled, it just falls apart. It just sucks. It's just not as enjoyable an experience. So that's why I call this a linchpin film. It's like so many other films that rely on their twist ending, they rely on it not getting spoiled. And unfortunately, this movie was spoiled for me long ago. So, and I have a very good memory. You know, I'm not going to forget what somebody said about. You know, and because I love the art of storytelling. So if someone tells me, "Oh yeah, the story is da 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 da," and this and that, then I'm not going to forget it. So I can't watch this film with an unbiased eye, and I can't watch this film without knowing that I'm being manipulated, and thus it kind of just falls apart, and it's not as enjoyable of an experience for me. I suppose I could go on and on about how it's well shot, well acted, well plotted, well paced, and it is all those things. But if you're asking for my personal opinion, I just don't enjoy this film the same way most people do. Because if the ending is spoiled, the movie is spoiled. And that's what this film rises and falls on, whether or not you know the ending. So, all that said, there's really not much else I can say about this film. I do recommend it if no one has spoiled the ending for you. If you don't know how this movie ends, I highly recommend it. And if you do, well then, you're just not going to enjoy it as well as the guy next to you who doesn't have a spoiled ending already in his head. That's all I have to say about this movie, really. I mean, that's a linchpin movie in a nutshell for you. So, that said, it's still a good movie. So, Sourcefed Movie Club, thank you for choosing great movies. Keep on choosing great movies, and I'll see you next time on Sourcefed Movie Club.